Good evening. Will the December 10th Dune City Council meeting please come to order? Ms. Administrator, could we have roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Rebecca Reedy.
Here.
President Maurice Sanders.
Here.
Councilor Sheldon Meyer.
Present.
Councilor Duke Wells.
Here.
Councilor Ed Scarberry.
Here.
And let the record show, please, that Councilor Platt is absent and excused, and we do have one vacancy.
Okay. All right. Will everyone present please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilors, I'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve tonight's agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve tonight's consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, we're just moving right on. Under announcements, we have many volunteer openings, and I really appreciate that we are beginning to see some volunteers come out and make application for some of these openings. So apparently, counselors, we've been doing a good job of seeking out good volunteers. So more on that a little later in the meeting. The city's council, let's see. Birthday wishes to Councilor Duke Wells, age 30, on the 30th or something like that.
Why?
One of those.
Why?
Is it the truth? I don't know. Some of us really know how old he really is. Okay.
Like 63?
Yeah, no. Another announcement is we are having the first ever, first annual lighted boat parade on Syracuse Lake, Saturday, December 12th. That's next Saturday. And there's a $10, if you want to decorate, spend lots of money with lights and decorating your boat, then you can pay a fee and sign up. And here's how it goes. Registration will be at 3 o'clock. The launch is at 4. The lineup is at 4:30. The parade will start at 5. The parade is anticipating ending at 6:30. And the benefit dinner afterwards is like a spaghetti dinner at 6:30. By 8 o'clock, everybody should be done by 8 o'clock. So that's at the Darlings Resort. There's an announcement here. Went to a planning meeting of that, and it's just coming off without a hitch. So very nice. Dune City Hall will be closed from December 23rd and 24th, and again on the 31st. So, I think we've got it all, Jamie, right? On announcements. Is there anyone signed up for citizen input? Citizen input? Yes, it is. Okay. Thank you. I will call Bonnie Allen, please.
Well, this is the last council meeting of 2015. I'd like you to start thinking about 2016. And what I'd like you to think about is the fact that 203 continues to be our septic ordinance, and ask you to make it a high priority for enforcement and action in the city.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. Take that note, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Sound like a good job.
Hmm?
Good job.
Someone. Too late now, we're all done. Thank you, Bonnie. Moving on to new business, we have some committee reappointments. Counselors, you have in your packet a reappointment for Bonnie Allen, Planning Commissioner, and Chris John to the Water Quality, the Water Committee. And I'll entertain a motion to approve these reappointments.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Bonnie and Chris for reappointment. Any discussion?
I see there's applications for the planning commission. Are we not acting on that?
Who's the planning commissioner?
We have budget committee and we have,
Oh, yeah, no, Mr. Mullen is going to be next month.
okay, I just stopped there.
Any further discussion, counselors? I would like to especially thank these two volunteers who are re-upping for their positions because, apparently they didn't find it too strenuous of work that they're continuing, and we very much appreciate that. So, here, any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. So, thank you. Thank you very much. We need to set a date for the goal planning session. We generally have that in January, in keeping with tradition, but I'm not opposed to waiting until Councilor Platt returns from his absence. So what do you guys think?
When's he gonna be back?
The March meeting? Well, I think that's a little late then.
Yeah.
I thought it was February, to be honest.
It initially was February, and then he was told it would likely go into March.
Oh, okay.
And for my purposes, for budgeting purposes, I would prefer that it be a little earlier.
Okay. So should we make it after the council meeting in January, like maybe the following week? What number would that be?
And Thursday is the 21st.
Thursday the 21st? Okay, what do you think? The third Thursday?
I'll be on that day, but it's fine.
Well, we can make it the third Wednesday, or,
I'll be gone that week.
oh,
So just plan it. If mine falls through, I'll show up.
How about the last week of the month?
the
25th through the 28th
well, the 17th, wait,
is a Sunday.
oh, wait, I got the wrong month. Got it, I'm really sorry. So the 28th, or
I'll be back then.
28th, going once, twice,
Good.
thumbs up, 28th, Jamie.
The 28th at what time?
Two.
There is a community forum. VAT, the Vision Community Forum is at 5 that evening.
Okay, so that should give us plenty of time to be
Yeah, what
down
time did
there.
you say? I didn't hear you.
2:30 or 3?
2:30, okay.
Does 2:30 sound right?
Mm-hmm.
2:30,
Super, thank you.
January 28th. Perhaps Councilor Platt could attend by phone. Oregon settlement regarding LCD screens. So after reading this, it sounds to me like that in order to opt into this, we are supposed to do nothing.
Exactly.
So what exactly, I mean, I don't really quite get,
I'm not sure either. All I know is that the state had entered into settlements with the manufacturers of LCD screens, incorporated into televisions, computer monitors, and laptop screens on behalf of state employees, and particular cities getting incorporated into that. The settlement may or may not affect us. If we opt in, we do nothing. If we decide to obtain our own attorney, that's the option that you can do, or you can opt out altogether.
well, so, well, my main question was, did we purchase computers, computer equipment, hardware during that length of time is why they sent us the letter, or
Mhm.
this is just blanket?
Right, no, it is listed on our audited of items that we
Okay.
have.
All right, so does anyone object if we do nothing and opt into this? Consensus of opinion? Yeah, right, yeah.
Or accept the motion, either way.
You need a motion?
Do you think we need?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I can do it consensus.
Okay, we'll opt into it. Resolution, Series 15 regarding application for property line adjustment.
Under Chapter 155 of the Dune City Code, there is a section that says that a person applying for basically a boundary line adjustment, a transfer of ownership, can do that provided it doesn't create a lot that's smaller, or, there's a lot of specific objectives in there that have to be met. But nowhere is there a form for somebody to make application to the city to do a boundary line adjustment. So, and then lo and behold, we had somebody ask. So it dawned on us, well, we need to figure out what to do. We need to put a form together, get all the proper information, and have it be one of the forms that our permit technician can issue, because it is objective. I mean, there are specific requirements. She'd check it out. If the lot's gonna be too small, she'd say no, that kind of thing. So the resolution is to adopt that form, which you'll find drafted and attached, I hope. Yes.
Okay. Any discussion, counselors, on this resolution?
Do you entertain a motion?
No, just want to hear some discussion first. No discussion? Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion then to adopt this resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution series 2015, number 6, dated 12/10/15. Any further discussion on this, counselors? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, we've adopted it by resolution. Unfinished old business. The triathlon is upon us again, very quickly. We've taken steps to get the marketing material together, and I've begun to distribute that. Anything else, Jamie, that's noteworthy?
The contract is moving forward. It's at the attorney at this particular time. There had been a breakdown in communication between Dune City and the attorney's office regarding the desires of the city. And it is our understanding, based on the minutes of the meeting of August, whatever the minutes were, where you guys, where it was talked about before. It's not clear in the motion that that the council approved selling the assets to Best in the West, but it kind of is. I mean, it was clearly the discussion and the motion that was actually made was with regard to taking action to further the contract itself and the sale of the assets. So in my opinion, that's what we're doing, and that's the goal, is to sell the assets of the event, to sell the event to Best in the West with specific reservations for the benefit of the city and lock it in for future. If Best in the West goes out of business or decides to sell, that we would either get the event back, or we would have in perpetuity the right to the same amount. of
Which
proceeds.
is 50% of the sponsorships.
It's, right now, it says 50% of the sponsorship solicited by Dune City. And so that's another, I need some direction, or perhaps the council could appoint somebody that I can work with on these negotiations on behalf of the council, so that I can make sure that whatever we're moving forward with is actually the desires of the council.
Okay, council, what do you think? That's kind of, I mean, it's kind of a big deal between 50% of those we solicit and 50% of the sponsorships, because, you know, it's my opinion that, it gets tricky when we as a council are going out and trying to solicit sponsorships, which we did that to get it off the ground. But I thought the goal for the future was to have it be self-sustaining event. So that's, Councilor Meyer?
It seems to me as though Dune City would deserve 50% of the sponsorship, period. Because if we didn't sponsor this thing, there wouldn't be this thing. And they wouldn't be getting, you know, the Best in the West wouldn't be getting anything, period. And so since we're committed to this and involved in this and have lost money this last year on this, it seems to me as though we ought to really hit hard on 50% of the sponsorship. I mean, we have agreed to not infringe on, you know, if they're making a presentation to a sponsor, so that we don't undercut them or, you know, get involved in that and screw that up. So it just seems to me like 50% of whatever sponsorship should come to us. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I think looking at the numbers from last year, I feel the same way. I think we're entitled to at least break even on this, you know. I think that our city, that Florence does real well with this. Even last year, just some of the business owners I talked with, particularly on Bay Street, the restaurants, I mean, they noticed that their folks were in town, you know. I think that'll help us with our sponsorship drive this year too. But I think we should have 50% of the sponsorship across the board.
What do you think, Councilor?
I'm looking at it a little differently, so I'm going to be outside the box on it. The Best in the West guarantee us that the city will not operate at a loss, period. If they do that, I personally don't care how they get there. If Best in the West can say, City of Dune City, we guarantee you will not operate at a loss. They're in the business to make money. This city is not.
Right.
That's my 2 cents.
That's a good 2 cents. Yeah, that's a good 2 cents.
I feel like Maureen does. If we can't continue to lose thousands every year. And from my standpoint, if we're breaking even, we're actually losing, because we've got staff time involved in it. We've gathered a lot of volunteers. So when we first started this out a few years ago, it wasn't to break even or just, it was to make money. It was to have another income source. Excuse me. So if all we're doing is breaking even and making goodwill in the community, that doesn't put money in our bank.
No.
So we need to do something where we're not losing money, and we have no big sponsors yet at this point. And it's quite possible we could move into the next triathlon, set up the same way we were last year with a few sponsors, and end up losing several $1,000s again. So I'm really nervous about that part of it.
Yeah, I think we can really visit the budget before, I mean, taking into consideration what occurred last year, and the dynamics of just the way, you know, we went into it and the preparations that went on, I think we could definitely look at the budget with a more critical eye and, you know, try to prevent a loss. I'm inclined to agree with Councilor Meyer about let's just, you know, 50%, because that to me sounds fair, because then there would, if you go, of those people that that we solicit, or, you know, you solicit, what if you both solicit the same person? And who gets credit? I mean, that's ambiguous. I don't like saying, well, no, we solicited them first, or they were our sponsor from last year, but, you know, I'm not in favor of that at all. So I just would like to see 50%, and so are you able to negotiate based on this discussion this evening?
Yes, and Blair is aware that I was going to be asking a couple of questions. I have another one as well, because it was not clear to me what the purchase price would be in looking at the motion that was made in the discussion that is on the minutes. Right now, I am told that the former city recorder agreed to $1. And I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. I just don't know.
Well, I think if they want to, this is just my opinion, you guys, if Best in the West wants to own the event and take it into perpetuity after the 5 years, which that's kind of our inclination in the first place, is that we would create this event that would eventually stand on its own, and then we would just see a little money, a little bit of a revenue stream come in off of that. And so if we sell it to him for $1 and let him run it and give us 50% of the sponsorships, to me, I think that would be the best possible outcome. What do you guys think?
Sounds good. It should be a partnership, and so 50/50
Right.
on all the income after expenses makes sense.
But we don't get any of the registrations.
Now, see,
Right.
that's different what you said than what we're saying.
Mhm.
Because the income is from registration fees. A lot of the income, so 50% of the income is a lot different than 50% of the sponsorships. Understand? So,
And what I heard Councilor Sanders say was 50% of the sponsorships and assurance that Dune City doesn't suffer a loss, which is going to mean, it's not hard, I mean, you know, it's not impossible to do, it's just gonna be a little more complicated, because that will then hand over some of the decisions as to how we spend money for the triathlon. Do we advertise in the paper? Do we have the live remote? Do we do those things? And it will leave that decision with Blair.
right. Counselor Sanders?
Blair and Best of the West are in the business to make money.
Yeah.
Businesses, like some people on the council who run a business, there's risks they take that are qualified and they're evaluated as being reasonable, that if I invest X amount of dollars, will I make Y amount of dollars to make it worthwhile? Blair is looking at this event as one in a series that he's got control of. Blair sees the potential in this. Let him hold us harmless so that we don't suffer a loss. He's in the business to take that risk, not us.
Okay. And there's nothing currently in the contract about merchandising. And we have historically broken even on the merchandising since we began all this. So do we want to leave that in there, or do we not want to say anything about it?
I would say let him bring it up, and we must look at our pricing so that a little slice of the pie comes back to the city.
If we take down, because that's what we've been doing, is addressing it as a separate thing, completely separate from what Blair does. So-
I would say let him bring it up, let him use that as a negotiation tool. I have no problem, everything's on the table. The bottom line is I don't want to see the city suffer a loss.
Okay, sounds good to me.
And we don't wanna have merchandise that's stockpiling in the attic that we don't have,
Right.
so.
Well, we have ways of selling it, so we have ways
It's
of
been,
marketing it.
yeah, it's been.
Yeah, it's been breaking even, we've been doing really well on that. The other thing on this, I think that's everything on this particular thing, other than I did want to let you know that even though the money is not in our hot little hands yet, it sounds very much like we are going to have a $4,000 sponsor in the very near future, so.
Good, awesome. So we're moving right along. Anything else, counselors? Okay, budget versus actual, Jamie. Nice.
I still can't figure out how to do it in QuickBooks, so I did it on my own, and I think I've solved the problem on QuickBooks, but I'm getting real close there, but I still don't trust it yet. But this I do trust.
Okay.
Okay, you'll note in the parts that are red, that is an actual, how much money has come in versus how much money we have spent. It doesn't necessarily mean that the account is in red or the fund is, although the building fund is. We're a little bit behind on some of the money that is coming in on that, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Other than that, we're looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty comfortable with what's happening. And in that regard, I can tell you that I've been having a lot of discussions with the auditor over the last few days. And today, well, you guys were partying, and I was in there talking to the auditor. We would have probably only one more 30-minute telephone conversation, and I think she's going to be ready to do the report, so hopefully we won't have to seek an extension again. Yay!
Now that's wonderful news. We've accomplished a lot in a short amount of time. Thank you.
I learned a lot. So I'm real pleased with the outcome.
Okay.
You could not make decisions with regard to the next two items without seeing this.
Okay.
Bottom line, year-to-date, our expenditures are what percentage of the budget? Because we're at, what, 41.6% of the fiscal year through November 30?
Right, 41.
Okay, and
Oh, I didn't calculate the last page on
I would really like to know what the bottom line is of the whole thing.
the, okay.
I've seen enough that I think I can make a decision on the next two items, but it is,
Give me a couple of seconds here.
I mean, if we spent 70% of our budget in the first 5 months, then we're in deep trouble. It's that kind of thing.
Well, part of it is hard to say that because we haven't gotten all of our taxes in yet, all the resources that we expect. That's why, because resources are down now.
I'm talking expenditures, not resources.
Okay, I just want you to know that.
If we've spent 70% of our budget in the first 5 months of the fiscal year, then we are in trouble. I want to know what.
But we have not.
Okay, I have trouble finding this on the papers that you gave us. Where do I find that?
The totals of the expenditures.
You have a
Okay.
summary sheet?
I can run in the other room and do that real quick.
No,
No,
you
no,
don't need
no,
to.
Here it
no,
is.
we'll just
It's
move
the
along.
back, hey, oh, that's my place. I know there's a
She
summary
has
page
it
on
by
there.
fund, Maureen. By fund.
The only fund that appears to have spent more than the others and is kind of out of whack, if you will, would be the general fund. And that is primarily due to the settlement agreement,
Okay.
the separation, I should say.
So our total expenses for the general fund is well, it says here total expenses are 36.1.
That's materials and services.
Total expenses for just materials and services.
That's budgeted, that's not actual. Actual is the next column over.
Oh, no, but that shows 70% of the budget expended. That's where, that's why I'm kind of interested.
Right,
We're talking
in the
$11
materials
grand.
and services section.
Yeah, that's 11 grand that we're,
But a lot of those expenses are things that are only once a year. And so it gets difficult because it's 100% of the year. I mean, if you look up, you'll see that,
okay. That's
well,
cool.
for example, but you're right, there, for example, in publishing, we're well over budget in publishing.
Well, I'm looking like at consulting, things like that.
Right, and consulting's another one.
Dues, I'm assuming, is a year-long expense that has been paid for the full year. So
No, not necessarily. That is right now where what I'm being paid is being put, but it has to find a new home.
You're being paid out of dues?
No, not dues, out of the
Consulting.
consulting.
Okay, all right, got it.
So it's gotta be,
Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
not dues is, I don't know, I think maybe, I need to dig into it a little bit further. I think some of that is WheeLog. But
It's
not-
WeLog and probably the Mayor's Association and LCOG.
Oh, MMR, LCOG, all
all
the
those.
recorder things, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
so
We're good.
thank you, Jamie, for taking time to put that together. I'm sure, as it's, is this something that's gonna be consistent each month?
I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try and keep it up to date all the time. Well, it makes it easier for the audit.
Okay. Anything else, counselors? Okay. Siding repair, whoa. Counselor Wells, what's happened?
As far as I know, nothing has changed. And with the weather right now, I'm pretty much feel the same way as I did at last month's meeting. I think until our budget gets straightened out and it's clear where we stand, I'm not on board with doing this right now. And the weather being the way it is right now, I don't think it's time of the year to be opening up the side of the building. So I'd like to put this off till spring, till weather breaks and we have nicer weather. That's where I'm at on it.
What's the worst that could happen? That it's
I
not
don't
gonna
think
fall
anything-
off or
Nothing's
anything.
gonna happen that bad. It's not gonna get any worse the next couple of months than what it is right now. That's where I'm at.
Well, if there's wood rot, they would need to treat it and allow it to dry, and that may not
Oh, yeah.
happen in this weather. So that would be the one reason why you'd want to delay.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Counselor. Fireplace, let's talk about that. In our packet, we have
a report about
an option.
the fireplace and a report that it also appears that it would be paid for by the grant funds that we have not yet, that are still left over above and beyond our commitments to the generator installation and propane tank.
Yeah, that's quite creative on how you
Linda's part.
figured that out. The cost of the fireplace insert is about $3,500. Most of the cost will be written into the existing grant by using the funds set aside for the shed. And it said, Counselor Wells examined the mantle and he said he could install a narrower mantle over the brick to make it fireplace code.
Do you want
Cabinets.
a better
What do you need to
explanation of
say?
that?
That's clear.
It sticks out too far now.
That's the bottom line. It sticks out too far, it doesn't meet code.
Yeah, it's clear.
Well, what about the cabinets? So he would
They're
just
fine.
cut that out and move it back?
They're not over the fire.
Yeah, the cabinets are fine. It's just the top that's over where the fireplace or an insert would be. It's not to code now.
What do you think, council? Jamie, is it your opinion that we got plenty of money to do this?
How often do we use the fireplace? Or is it purposes for emergency?
It's particularly for emergencies. We don't use it that often. However, if you did the insert, it would stop. The flue is broken and we get winds through here. We get animals, we get bugs.
Do you need a motion?
Well, I mean, if that's our only concern, the flu is got a problem, you can ward it up, right? I mean, I don't think that's it. I mean, I think we would definitely use it more. We used to put fires in there and particularly
Right.
during the Christmas
It just
party.
depends on what you think. Fireplaces are not as efficient as an insert would be, as far as providing heat. And an insert would also provide an opportunity to use it as a cooking surface if you needed to in an emergency. But again, that's an emergency situation. So it's whatever you guys choose.
So what do you think? Let's,
If we have the funds there, I think it probably should be done.
okay, let's hear a motion.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is to
Adopt what?
bring our fireplace up to code as outlined in this agenda.
And the expense of about $3,500,
Yep.
and where is that coming from the budget?
Well, that's
What
the
line?
grant funds.
Grant funds, okay.
That's the Ford Foundation grant funds.
Okay. Was there a second?
Second.
Counselor Wells, second. Any further discussion? Okay, so it's coming from grant funds, 100% from grant funds?
No, there might be a little bit, like $100 or $200. It depends on how much Duke charges to do the.
Yeah, that's important, he needs to.
Same as I
get
charge for
paid.
everything else.
Okay. Counselor Meyer?
The motion covers the insert, the correcting the overhang and the insert.
Well, I think the insert will come out beyond the wood, that's the way I'm reading it.
It does.
Right.
Yeah, so you can cook on it if you need to, and it won't ignite the wood.
Okay.
That's the code
Bring
problem.
it to code.
Would it be up to code by then? I mean, just by doing that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just bring the insert out from behind, in front of the
Well,
wood.
that whole insert.
Glad someone knows about
Okay.
this stuff.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any further discussion, counselors? Okay, all right. Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right?
Any opposed, say no. Okay. When's this gonna take place?
When I get to it.
Okay.
Ooh, that's soon.
Okay, all right.
I would like to wait
She's
until I
good.
get the generator.
Oh, we're up to reports already and it's not even 7:40.
Talk slower.
Wow, okay.
No.
And once you get home to his nice fireplace. Mayor's report, we had a very nice ceremony on Pearl Harbor Day as we dedicated the two 60-millimeter mortars, practice bombs to the Oregon Military Heritage Museum. And it was very well attended. We had a color guard. It was very, very nice ceremony. There's about 50 persons there, and it just felt very patriotic, doing it on Pearl Harbor Day and having these bombs. The Air National Guard came down from Portland, all the way from Portland, and brought them straight up 12 o'clock noon, and it was just a very, very nice ceremony. It was my pleasure to do that. And that's about it from the mayor's report. Councilor Wells, do you have a report for us this evening?
Just a little bit of winter cleanup around here. That was all we've done. Staff put up a tree, as you see there, pretty. That's about it for us.
And Councilor Scarborough?
We're gonna do the quarterly meeting in January for the Parks Commission.
Okay. Councilor Meyer?
I have no report at this point. Must have been wasn't too stormy.
Yeah.
But as I presented last month, the water quality is getting better and better. It's like over the years, we've, I think, done some of the right things, and the state has helped us by banning some of the stuff that we don't want in Lake Minnetonka. So it looks to me like we're on the right track.
Awesome. City Administrator Mills, do you have a report for emergency services?
Yes, I attended the Westland Emergency Operations Group meeting on November 16. The emergency operations plan, the end of October was the deadline for submitting comments, so we expect that to be released soon. The emergency cold shelter held training for the volunteers on Saturday, November 21st. And the other thing was that wool blankets, the emergency shelters, and Red Cross is changing. Red Cross is changing their blankets from the wool blankets, the gray wool blankets, to white blankets with a Red Cross on it. And so those gray wool blankets are going to be distributed to anybody who may want them in emergency services. So there's talk about what's going to happen to those wool blankets in the area here, whether they will go. I think a chunk of them will end up going into the van for mass casualty van, because right now it doesn't have the blankets for that. And there may be some that get stored in the areas out south of the bridge for use in the event of emergency. So that's all on that one. The full minutes and everything are in their financial report.
Yep.
And that's it. And then there's mine. The permit activity was still slow this month and is about half of what it was last year this time. The Planning Commission held the public hearing on the septic ordinance number 228 and made recommendation to the City Council that well, it'll be explained more. What I said is it'll be explained more at the time of consideration of the ordinance by the council in January. The mayor requested that that be put on the January schedule rather than trying to do it this time of year. So I received a telephone call from the superintendent of Siuslaw School District. I think maybe I have explained that to you once before. However, I have recently received news that at their meeting last night, they voted to approve the 4% increase. So although I have not gotten that information formally, I'm real excited that has come through for us. Haven't heard from Lane County or regarding the roadway transfers or the Lot 700. 3 RFPs have been sent to various law offices requesting bids for the work on the encroachment issue. I have heard from 2 of them. One said, well, both of them have said no, they don't want to do it. I'm still waiting on the 3rd one. The letter requesting reimbursement from Lake's Edge has been sent and no response has been received. The deadline, unfortunately, I failed to say 10 days from the date of this letter before the close of business. I forgot to put before the close of business. So that means Lake's Edge has until until midnight tonight to reimburse us before we take the next step. But I need advice from the council what that next step would be, and I don't know if you want to discuss it here or if you want to have an executive session to discuss it.
If they have till midnight, don't we have to wait until conceivably they can come through the door?
I'm not staying here till midnight.
I understand that. But for us to act prematurely without the deadline passing, I think is
Would
wrong.
be, yeah.
Wait,
If there's need for a special session, we'll be in contact with everyone and
Okay.
make sure that occurs. Okay?
I have submitted the easement declaration regarding the outlet control structure on Wohenk Lake to the city attorney, and she and I have had discussions about it, and I expect to see a deed conveying the outlet control structure and the declaration of easement to be signed in the near future, or at least be submitted to the Andersons for execution very soon, which is good. I wanted to thank, I passed it up, but I wanted to thank the Planning Commission and Rapunzel for all their hard work on the septic issue. It's a difficult discussion, and it has a lot of fingers and facets to it, so be prepared in January as we move into that discussion. And I want to thank Renee, because she worked very hard in getting the water meter reader data into the computer and has filed the report, the mandatory report with the state. So we're good to go there, and thanks to the meter reader, Ron Ralston, who is a Dune City resident, for his quick work and prompt work on that. And of course, a big thank you goes out to Dune City Road Commission member volunteer Mike Clinton for fixing the ever-growing pothole on Woodland Lane. I don't know if you guys have seen it or anybody who lived on Woodland Lane has, but it would knock your car out of alignment, okay? It was really bad. So, and Mike just got right on it. We picked up the phone, called him, got right on it, and went out there and fixed it, and so it's been all repaired. So that's nice. So we thank him for that. The website now offers real-time webcam views of both Wahwehank and Silk Goose Lakes, so that we hope that you'll all go to the website and watch the lakes. We've already discussed the military donation, and I told you about that the audit information has gone to the accountant, and it looks like we're going to get it done. And you announced about the closures of Dune City Hall, so I believe that is everything.
Okay, I just want to say we put a check right next to another revenue source. Thank you to Councilor Scarberry for initiating that whole discussion about the school and the 1% versus 4%. So thank you, and it's another check.
More money.
More, yes, and it moves us forward. So that's awesome.
You don't want me to give a report?
Where are you?
Tim Sanders, under Road Commission.
Well, I skipped you, I'm sorry. Mr. Sanders, I have you marked off, so please give us a report.
There was no road commission last month because yours truly had a Florence moment where he forgot.
Oh.
So I apologize to the community for that. We're meeting on the 21st. We're going to be handling one item that the city administrator needs resolved fairly quick regarding driveway aprons, if I understand correctly.
I'm sorry?
Driveway aprons?
No, actually, subdivision.
Subdivision? Okay. I attended via phone the Lane Act Committee or Commission meeting yesterday, and Florence's project to get Highway 101 from 126 to the bridge fixed was ultimately put at the third list of 4 or 6 projects. So the likelihood of funding through the Oregon Transportation Commission is really great. And because Mike Miller and the city of Florence put together the proposal, all this south of the bridge will benefit from it. It was a probably one of the most impactful meetings I have attended, even albeit by phone. My voice for Dune City was heard.
Yes, thank you for your time spent on that. And it's not only time that you spent there, but it's every month since I stopped going. Maury's been attending this meeting. I just couldn't fit it into my schedule because it's right the Wednesday before the council meeting. Yeah, and so thank you, Maury, for taking that on, and
So I'm forgiven for missing the
you're
regular meeting.
forgiven. So I'm forgiving for overlooking your report from this meeting or whatever. Okay, so that's good. Are we ready for go to the order? Councilor Meyer?
I enjoyed the afternoon
Yes.
session. I thought that was well done. Appreciated all the comments.
Councilor
Driving here, it was dark this time of the year, and I just say thank you to the residents. Done a pretty neat job of decorating some of the homes when I was driving down Clear Lake and on Boy Scout Road. It was some really nice looking decorations out there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Councilor Sanders?
Merry Christmas to all.
have an enjoyable and safe holiday season.
Councilor Scarborough?
Just ready for some of Duke's cake.
Ready for Duke's cake? Yep. Have a cake. I have for good of the order, do you all recall, last year I made the season's greetings from Duke City and on the radio, and do you all remember that?
That was a year ago.
Okay, it was a very nice season's greetings, and we got lots of feedback from it, from the community and even people who don't live here. Nice that was. So I'd like to have a consensus of opinion if you think we should do that again. I paid for it personally last year out of my pocket, but I want to not pay for it personally this year and have the city pay for it. The top would be like $200 at the most. Just run it the week before Christmas.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
If you do that, spending public funds, can you say the words Merry Christmas?
I don't know if I did.
I'm
Say Merry
asking
Christmas.
if you are able to say that.
I don't know the answer to that one, but it's from me, so.
If you pay for it, you can do it, but if the city pays for it, are we restricted to saying happy holidays or season's greetings?
I'll take that under advisement and consult with the station person.
Maybe Donald Trump would give us some money to say Merry Christmas.
Buy the radio
I
station.
think you just do what you've been doing for 250 years in this country, and if somebody wants to complain, let them
Let them
complain.
No, but they will complain with a lawsuit, that's my concern.
Okay, all right, thanks, Maury. Anything else? All right.
Let them kick.
Duke, in honor of your birthday, we are going to have cake this evening and
Any gifts?
presents if you want, yes.
Yes, we're not gonna sing.
Yes. So everyone, please join us for celebrating Duke's birthday in the kitchen. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
It is 7:52. I think this is the record. It has to be the record.